We're back from the break and also from the interview with Esipenko, who told us that yesterday he blundered the pawn and he kept his poker face not to show his opponent that he did it. So, and now we are coming back with the games of the round 8, and very soon we're gonna reach the time scramble, and we're gonna have a lot of games also finishing by that time too. So what is the game that we're looking at?
What's the game that we are looking at? Well, I mean, we're looking at all the games. I mean, I want to mention perhaps first that it looks like a lot of games in the open section, leading group that is, will finish in a draw. So board 2, Yesipenko, we had him, right? Then on board 4, it's already a draw for Kosakovsky and Mendonca. Then board 1 will finish in a draw anytime soon. So that the position got fairly simplified, and I believe there is pretty much forcing way to trade the pawns on the queen side, like white would go rook a3 and black can play rook d2, so that after rook a7, rook a2 there is no checkmate on the back rank, and that pretty much sums it up. Right, so that's going to be another draw. Which leaves, it seems, yeah, the leading group intact. So 2 players will remain in lead. Ivic, for the time being, only one on a third spot, and then it'll be quite a messy pairing, I have to say, because we will have 2 leaders, but they've already played each other, so they have to pick some players. We might see, you know, of players with 1 point difference. Yeah, that's quite
Maybe
quite
for
possible.
the last rounds for sure.
Yeah. So look, then board 3, Samunenkov is a pawn up against Frederick Swane, but it's a double pawn. So black's knight on, well, it is on d1, but in fact it is quite an active piece, right? So knight c3. You know, those pawns will start moving. So it's, well, I guess it's actually white who might be, you know, slightly uncomfortable in this position, but normally it has to be a draw, of course. So it makes it 4 draws on 4 top boards. Then at board 5, yeah, it's board full of, it's hard to say, perhaps white is slightly better, so not a draw just yet. On board 6 we have this crazy position for Batsuren and Kadimbai. Well, crazy opening line that is, and no surprise, the position is crazy. There is, yeah, I thought there was some repetition, not really. So queen to h2, queen c1, c8. So that's what we have for now. So black pretends that he castled long, right? But he never did.
Yeah,
he actually was kind of an artificial castle. I guess we may say that black improved the situation for himself. The computer still favors white, but you know, coming up with the exact moves is not that easy for white. How do you improve, or rather, where do you break through? It's not entirely clear, right? For the time being, the dark square bishop is not a very active piece. You can never, yeah, perhaps have to explain the last move. So white intended perhaps to go bishop f4, or rather to have bishop f4 as an option, right, to trade everything. But black goes king c8, so now bishop f4 runs into, obviously, into this check. So after king c8, how do you even continue with white? That's a very tricky position. Somehow white wasn't on time. I mean, usually the king is already on g1 by now. And then, yeah, you can, I don't know, double on the e file and so on and so on. Somehow white couldn't make it happen. So when did black queen go to d6? Yeah, queen d6. Maybe he had to play king g1, you know. just to make sure that the queen will not appear on h2, because after bishop c2 he didn't really have a chance to, to kick this queen out. Queen c1, king c8, maybe queen h1 is what you need, but then who knows what kind of an endgame that is if black decides to trade. Because let's not forget, black does have some passed pawns potential with a5, b4, right? The blockade knight on d5 is quite strong. Even if black trades after queen h1, it's not absolutely clear. And also, he might as well just go back. And then, yeah, the queen is really awkwardly placed on h1. Maybe you go to h3, g3. Yeah, that's another question. So still, wow, he does play bishop f4. He does play bishop f4. I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, because it's a second pawn, right? Queen h4. I assume bishop g3 is what white's planning, and after this queen, say, returns to f6, it is a nice diagonal, right? So the king is a little bit in danger, but it's already 2 pawns. It's already 2 pawns. Don't know, maybe some queen a3 is what he's planning. We'll see. Anyway, this game doesn't look all that drawish, and I was talking about board 6, not that position that randomly popped up. And I think we are pretty much done with the leading group. So this is the last pair of players on 5 points.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go to the now girls section.
Girls section.
We have here some updates. And for instance, the one we have now on the screen, this is
board 3. Yeah,
board.
white's completely winning.
Look at these rooks on the 7th rank, both knight being super active right now, and the threat can be knight to f6.
Well, white's the move, so white
and
can
rook
play
h7
knight
checkmate.
f6. White can play knight f6, and I guess so. Maybe bishop f7 in this case, or yeah, and then what? Huh? Interesting. Yeah, it looks terribly passive for black, right? Ah, wait, but now we realize that nothing is moving and this knight is free, right? So we go here, I guess.
I would personally play here. Consider to play d7 move someday soon as rook c8 hanging.
Ah, yeah, d7 threatening rook c8. Yeah, that's correct. Rook c8, also rook e8. Yeah, anyway, it's a little doubt that white is winning because he has all of that, like activity, passed pawn for 1 pawn only. So for, oh no, not even for 1 pawn, the b2 pawn is here. Yeah, for some reason I thought white has, so it's equal material. What are we talking about? Of course, white is white's completely winning.
Right away on the second board, as we are having now some kind of crazy things happening. So black just played rook to d3 and sacrificed the exchange.
So that's Salimova against Rudzinska, right? And after g6, we've already figured out rook f6 was very strong. Salimova went with h4, h5, and only then followed it up with rook f6. Black goes for queen g3, and after rook h6, I presume queen h5 is a big threat after rook h6. Black sacrifices the bishop, the rook for the bishop on d3. So white has to capture with the rook, right?
Yeah, if queen takes, then in that case...
queen takes, you trade, right?
You trade
and go
and
bishop
you play
e4.
bishop e4, and that's actually what black wants to do. But after rook to d3, there's no bishop e4 now, and black has to come up with something different.
So I wonder what black's plan is, because as far as I can understand, there is a few... Yeah, bishop b5, I believe, is an option, but then perhaps you lose this position eventually. Oh, okay, not so clear. King g7, you know. Was there something else after bishop b5? Because computer is extremely
Computer is going
extremely
crazy.
happy, yeah, with, but what can it possibly, rook h8, rook h8, no? So if king takes, queen h5 check, I'm taking the rook, but king g7, right, and everything is
You
hanging.
do rook g6 instead of rook h8.
Rook g6, yeah, rook g6, pawn takes, queen e6, yeah, that's a win. Okay, so bishop b5, actually possible to blunder, right, rook g6, yeah. Should not be completely discarded.
Well,
Like rook h8 is more standard, rook g6 you might as well miss. Okay, if it's not bishop b5, what else? Take on g5? Possibly capture on g5, but you know, with such a king, I don't trust in black's, say, survival chances too much. So it's got to be something in between. And the problem is, if you leave the square unprotected, queen e5 looks very so, maybe a check then. Maybe a check then, and if rook d1, I'm still looking for a way to get into some endgame with black. Because I believe, like the bishop and a pawn, especially if this pawn, like h5 or g4, like this one should not be worse for black at all. In fact, black is better. So this pawn is very dangerous, and then king g7, you know, rook h8, or yeah. So black should be trying to swap the queens. Very sharp position. On the first board, Beidulaiva, last time we've seen she had better chances. Not sure what's going on anymore. Well, it's been a lot of stuff happening since our last visit. Trade here, rook e1. This knight is great. But yeah, but that can be pretty much anything in this position, because potentially white, it's kind of white setup on the queen side is always better, up to the point that you win like one of those pawns with black, right? So if we, once again, if we are talking some endgame, white always has counter chances. And
yeah, but as now these pawns are a bit too pushed on the queen side, it creates so much weaknesses on the dark side. So bishop f5, like in the knight, has no d4 square here.
yeah, bishop f5 anyway,
the problem is that if white is going to guard this knight with the rook, then white will lose the control of the file. So the question is where the knight goes.
Queen f2 maybe, to hint at knight d4. If we, I mean, if we trade, I don't think black is seriously better.
Well, after queen c3 here.
I still think knight d4 is an option, right?
Knight d4?
Knight d4, and I mean, at least for kind of from human standpoint, I'm not very happy that my queen is kind of got cut off from the king. Maybe it's good for black. I don't know. But yeah, knight d4 and want to play knight e6, perhaps, or rook c1 and then knight e6. It's a very hard position to play, I want to say. Yeah, bishop f5's played, obviously. If you don't play queen f2, I'm actually very pessimistic about white's chances. Like knight on b4 doesn't do anything. On a3, perhaps even worse than on b4.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe queen f2 is the only move. So it is getting tense. And interestingly, a girls' tournament is much more tense than the open section today. None of the top 10 games finished.
No.
Well, a couple of them look decided, if you ask me. Like this board 3, completely winning for white, it seems. And there are other, yeah, I think board 8 looks pretty much done. Lisa Schulze. She just won, yeah?
Yeah, but her her opponent is 1700 player, and she was rating favorite at this point.
Yeah. She had control over the d file for quite a long time, and yeah, that's a nice way of finishing the game. Queen d8, queen sacrifice, bishop f8, and Bishop h6.
Yeah,
No
nicely
way
done.
for black to avoid the checkmate.
Shall we go to the game of Miroshnichenko and
Board 4.
yeah,
Yeah.
Karmal Gaeva, because Miroshnichenko is someone who we consider the rating leader, but she's really struggling, and so far I think this is the highest board she has played since she lost the game. And what's the chances for her today?
Well, it looked, I mean, we checked it a couple of times. It looked relatively kind of equal, right? And the final position, or not the final, but the current position, perhaps white is better. Compi was giving white even higher advantage a couple of moves ago, I guess, but yeah. So opposite colored bishops managed to win a pawn. And the bishop is on its way back to defend the king. So it's all kind of all on black if she has something right here, right now, or this rook needs to go away, but then after bishop g3, the king is solid, right? You should, I mean, you will still need to win this. As say white goes bishop g3, it's only one pawn, opposite colored bishops. Yeah, the king is like still vulnerable to some perpetual checks, if not checkmates. Okay, we just witnessed that some game has finished in the open section. I'm not sure which one that was. I guess it was in the open section. So Miroshnichenko might be having some chances. It's move 35 though, so they will pass the time control for sure. And then, yeah, this actually can be quite a long game, right? Because nobody is getting to opponent's king quite quickly, still a lot of pieces on the board, and then the potential for this, you know, opposite colored bishops with the rook endgame, which is a nightmare because it can go forever. Like white will, you know, have an extra pawn, queen will come off,
Just
and
the
then
thing
one
is,
rook.
is that we do when we have this obstacle colored bishop, and black has not g pawn on the board. White can start to make some progress on that dark squares. For instance, if after bishop g3 or bishop e5, there's some ideas to
Rook b2, rook b6. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
to go after b7 pawn or get this rook on the 6th rank, and there's also bishop h4, f4 ideas to go after h6 pawn. So there is quite pleasant position
It
for
is,
white.
it is a pleasant position for white, but what I'm saying is that still, in order to win it, you'll need to play a lot of moves. If, of course, if black doesn't cooperate, you can blunder in one move anytime, which ends the game abruptly. But yeah, but if let's say black will put up some decent fight, this is a very long, usually a very long way to. So board 1, hang on a second, bishop f5, white did play queen f2, black went for rook e5. Okay, interesting. So black intends to double the rooks on the e file, and I guess if white would have taken on e5, so d take e5 would changing
Mira,
the
we have to,
structure.
sorry to interrupt you, but some blunder has
Yes.
happened on the second board, and we should get away there because this game might end soon.
What a blunder.
The blunder here is queen g4 to go right away.
Queen g4.
Now,
Yeah,
queen
but there's
e5
queen
is a
e5 just
checkmate
wins. Yeah,
strat.
queen e5 just. Queen to e5 just wins. That's exactly why I wanted to give a check on g1 first with black. Hang on a second, I have to update. Yeah. So I was looking at queen g4, if you remember, yeah, but I was doing it via queen g1 check. Where probably white's better move is king c2 and not, yeah, king c2, bishop b5 though, so it's tricky. Yeah, so check, rook d1 and only then queen g4. Because immediate queen g4 runs to queen e5 and nothing can save this king, it seems. Queen e5. what move black can.
F6 is the only move I can see, besides and check, of course. But Queen G1, actually, if, like after King C2, when you're running out from checks, then you don't have control over E6 pawn. So that can be also
wait
crucial.
a second, so check. Do you run out of checks? Check here. You can, no, rook d2, queen e4, right? But then with the queen on d2, you can actually, no,
Why
queen g2 is
King C1?
stupid, right? King c1, rook d1, yeah, fair enough. King c1, d1.
Is
Solves
on
everything.
the board. I think
Queen e5 is on the board and Salimova is winning.
super happy with this blunder that she just seen, and also here has two look very tight.
Yeah, that's just past that point when.
You know what? I'm starting to think when black sacrificed the exchange on d3, very likely her idea was this bishop b5 next move, and it's very. It's possible to you miss rook g6 here. Yeah. It's not easy to see at all. Move. Time problem, right? So probably now she was looking for some other ideas and she blundered another.
Yeah, interestingly, computer is not very, it's not that much depressed. It could be that rook d3 is not the only move and perhaps not the best move. So I wonder what was the best move here. Yeah, now white is completely winning. Now white's completely winning. You just need to go there, and after this to c1, and black is left with one more check, yeah, and then this will be it.
Wow.
Right, so Salimova was winning. Queen
Salimova
f2,
is having last 2 days where she should be very happy, because yesterday she was losing the game. And on the last second, on the move 38, her opponent made a big blunder and then she halted the position, but she was completely losing. Today also, I think this game could go at some point at any way after this inaccuracy moves h4, h5. But then this has happened, this blunder has happened.
Yeah.
Well, for chess players, it's very important to have a bit of push, this kind of, you know, luck,
yeah,
if we can call it luck, to win the tournaments.
Right. On board 4, this opposite colored bishops. On board 5, I mean, I just want to see like everything. On board 5, Zalber is pawn up against Elizaveta Grebenshikova. Pawn up and perhaps a winning position. It will be hard for black to organize any sort of meaning to play. So on board 5, Zala might be winning the leaders. Then 2 German players, as you've mentioned. Lara Schulze has already won, and Jana Schneider is also better. Not sure if it's winning already for white, but obviously passed pawn, 2 bishops, you know, black bishop on 8 being passive. In girls section, we'll have, in fact, a lot of decisive games. So might be some shifts between the leaders, like someone's going, someone losing the leading. I'm to see any decider in the open section. So,
oh, the first game has been ended.
Yeah, we've got a draw on board 1. We still have the game on board 3 where Samolenkov is getting in a bit of an unpleasant position, I want to say, in this endgame. It was, I mean, he was a pawn up, right? Somewhere around here, but apparently you can't should accept that you can't win. And he spent a lot of time kind of moving around this bishop, and then eventually ends up in a very unpleasant position where Black's king is on d4, so White is very passive. I mean, you might lose.
What's the idea here?
Lose
B5
this
at
one.
C3.
I mean, just jump with the knight like all the time and hope that White blunders something.
Well, White has less than 2 minutes clock,
Yeah.
but last 2
Yeah,
it's not so
go g4.
hard to get here the increment.
But if you get the king on c3, let's say that's a bit too much, right? So go after g4, perhaps go g5 to stop further pawns advance, and yeah, maybe bishop f7. No, probably White should not lose, but it's an unpleasant position nevertheless. So that's board 3 on board 5. The position kind of leveled, but Black is down to seconds. Black is down to seconds, and it's still 10 more moves to play. So Kosonis, I would argue, has some chance, unless his opponent. His opponent just made the move, knight f4, and perhaps threatens.
Oh, we had resignation on the second board of girls section.
In the girls tournament. Now I guess it's the third board. It's the third board.
No, it is second board, and we see them already.
I can see both results. Okay, let's not argue. Both games finished, but I had this result a bit earlier than the second board. So second and third board in both games.
Okay, to be clear, we had the second board on the screen on the video. That's what we still see. That the players are just getting off the board.
So check, yeah. Check, rook f7 and rook h7, and yeah, simply win. Everything with the check, and you trade the queens and. Or check. Yeah, it's a checkmate. What trade the queens? Yeah, rook d8. You see, I mean, how cautious I am. I want to trade the queens and not checkmate my opponent in one move. Right. Anyway, so the leaders have pressure on them because in the girls section, right? Because if they make a draw, Salimova is catching up, and also there'll be. Well, at least Hajieva and maybe someone else half a point behind. Okay.
Yeah, let's now take a look.
Let's update. Let's update. Black.
Look at the situation. The engine goes so negative for White here.
Queen h5, queen f3. Why is that? Because we can take the pawn over. It's a bit confusing, right? Queen takes h2 is an option. I wonder if g4 is not, right? g4 is not an option here. g4 not. Oh, well, it could be. Yeah, g4 finally figured out that queen f4 loses to rook f8. Okay, so g4 is a possible move as well. Queen takes h2. Just wins the pawn and threatens queen h1, so might as well. Has chances, serious chances. Move, what's that? Move 36, so still 5 more moves to reach the time control.
Oof, after this move, queen f3, and as the pawn is now hanging, and Black can simply take, but Black is taking here some time.
She could play h3, right?
It's so surprising why she made this decision.
Play h3. It looks ugly, but what to do? Queen f3. It's kind of a desperate attempt to trade the queens, or rather offer queens trade. Black is absolutely free not to take it. And yeah, g4 seems to be. Yeah, perhaps g4 just wins. Look, if you cannot take here. And I believe you cannot go to f2 because G3 question mark? Yeah.
So the idea is that
G3 would
after
win.
H takes G3, now you have a
It's a
check.
check, yeah.
And you're taking rook on E1 and you're
Rook
losing
and
the
take
queen.
and win the queen, yeah. So this one wins. Queen f4 loses to rook f8. And if queen goes somewhere here, perhaps G3 nevertheless, right? Well, once again, the board says black's completely winning. If anything, you can play rook e3. Chase the queen away even more, and then eventually when you take on h2, like...
G4 has been found here by black, and she didn't want for queen h2.
Oh yeah, she didn't play it, yeah.
Queen
G4,
d3.
queen d3, so maybe one last precise move is needed. By the way, I have no clue whatsoever if it's rook e3 or something else. Rook e3 seems sufficient, but might be...
Maybe f3, it might be g3, or any of these moves.
f3, like
really
I wasn't sure if white takes, do we really win? I mean, we probably do, and black is better, even if black is not winning immediately, right? Black is always better. It's just that you're looking for the utmost precise way. Okay, more results followed. So Jana Schneider wins against Kubova, Anna Maria. Actually, yeah,
all the
Lave
games are
7.
decisive. So
Yeah,
in
in
the girls
girls,
section,
like not a single draw yet, right?
on the one of the last boards I can see, but top 10,
No,
top
top 10,
15.
if you're talking top 10, yeah.
Yeah,
And also, you were right, Mikrochan winning quite quickly. Somehow black misplayed it, and now rook b6 is the threat. Maybe just rook b6 wins immediately, and then you take on rook b6, and when the queen goes, you take on h6, and you just win the X-ray through 6th rank. Okay, so if Mikrochan wins, she is getting... How many points Mikrochan has? Can you tell me, Keti?
She actually...
Is she on 5 out of 7, or she
Let me
has
check
less?
it right now.
I think she's on 5, right?
She is having 5 points, and if she wins, she's gonna get 6 points.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm getting confused. So she's and her opponent on 5, and the next board, Sala or...
Also 5.
Also 5, she has already won, so it's 6. Right. It'll be what? It'll be first place, very likely. The leader after today's round would be Beidulayeva. Salimova seems to be clear second, right? And then a tie for third. But it's only if Beidulayeva wins. Yesterday she had completely winning position, as we remember, but yeah, let it slip. F3. Okay, F3 rook takes E5. Let's find out if F3 actually wins. It probably does, but somehow, yeah, like you take, and let's say, I'm not even sure what white's supposed to do. I take on G3. You have a... No, it's not clear. No, I'm not convinced with f3.
And what happens
I mean,
after G takes F here?
You probably do win. G takes... You mean I'm getting checkmated? Very likely.
In a few moves.
Very likely. King... yeah, not even clear. Somehow I had an illusion that you'll have difficulties moving the queen. So probably taking on G3 is stupid. I have to do something else, like go to G1. But then it's still winning. Or what else can I do? What else can I do? Because black's threat is... Actually, I'm not sure. Thought of queen takes h2, but then it allows a check on g6. It's not that clear. I guess the move had been made. Yeah, white certainly just played the move I've seen from a camera view, so we just need to wait for, you know, the electronic board software to pick it up. And Salimova, Beidulaiva, she does have 5 more minutes. She's quite comfortable, in fact. Still no move. Rook d2, pardon. Rook d2. So guarding, trying to guard the second rank, right? Now it's a big question. Look, queen takes h2 and white has a check on g6. Because like you cannot guard your own king.
I'm not very positive about giving a possibility to give a check on g6.
How about we calculate lines and run away? So this
there are many ways actually.
We go to a7, right? Because now the checks left are from here. And the second line...
You seriously want to take this h2 pawn here in this game, right?
Oh, why not? Because if there is no perpetual, it wins immediately. That's the point. Maybe g3 wins. Wins without.
Looks very
maybe
winning.
g3 wins without calculation.
Without
then of course
any possible checks.
See, it doesn't win. Now some computer found something. No, this is impossible to analyze. Can you believe there is a move? Because I don't know.
I hardly believe that you can find this move
maybe.
in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
h3 maybe. No, but seriously, if queen takes h2, this check, and we go here, and after this check we go... No, again, I'm making a mistake. Queen d6, right? Queen d6 is annoying. Then, how do we trick? Here, check on the 7th rank, maybe c7 to keep the rook pinned, and we run somewhere. But that's, you know, Beidulaiva yesterday, her king was under some checks, and she was a little bit scared.
I don't believe that she would go for this.
Probably she will not go. Yeah, probably she will not take on h2. And you're absolutely right that there should be some other way of winning this position. But still, she's not that. I mean, if she would have had kind of half an hour, then you can wait and calculate everything, maybe take on h2.
She just needs one move, and for me, I don't know, like king g7 makes more sense to avoid, to get the time and also to avoid all these checks. She actually made a move.
She needs two. Yeah, king g7 is played. That's correct.
Yeah.
And the question is, I think white captured on f. No. White to move still, right? White still to move. King g7. There is one more move for both players, right? It's one more move for both players. Okay, and yeah, it's like one last move before the time trouble is over, okay? On the first board, so we can't really we can't really leave it right
40 seconds.
Look, so what happens here is, wait a second, you said all decisive games on top 10. Not only that, but also all games so far won with white in the guild section. So impressed. Of course, there will be some victories for black, like for instance here. GF3, and that's pretty much game over. They've reached move 40, but how do you guard this king? So it seems to be Beidulaiva who is winning. All right.
Yeah, as we have reached already.
Yeah, we've reached the time control. Just confirming that no shocking news in the open section, not really. So I guess we take this chance and we'll have another guest in the studio, this time from the girls section.
Go anywhere, we'll be back with a guest.
Welcome back, everybody. Round 8. You're getting very close to the leading group, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What's the feeling? Still optimistic going to the last 3 rounds?
Well, yes, I'm really happy that I won today. I came to the tournament with quite low expectations because that summer for chess went down with rating like 150 points.
Oh, really?
Since the beginning.
The favorites.
Yeah.
Shame on me. I'm saying this girl who is somewhat lower rated very well, and it turns out
I was
hidden favorite then. Okay. So first, today's game.
Yeah.
Will you share what has happened? Right. I mean that's our tradition. We are boring. Look at today's games.
Well, since the beginning, I had a very good feeling about today's game because I saw that she only plays like green defense, and I have really many options here on what to choose, which open, and I chose like this with G-iteration.
If you like, you can have a keyboard
thanks.
and then.
But I really expected that she like for Greenfield because that's what she does. But okay, she went for King Sidian, or actually later she went for this Benoni.
Right.
Yes. Okay. And I really wasn't expecting that, but I checked some variation, and I don't know, I was confident. But I think what Black usually does is takes and takes and something like that.
Probably.
Like, yeah.
I mean, actually,
Okay.
I would be fine with what she did because
yeah. Okay, but she didn't take it, so I was like quite surprised. I didn't know what to do because like I have to do something with d pawn now. So I just
Yeah,
like,
d5 is
d5.
certainly
This is like
a
no.
theme, right? Knight a5,
I,
right?
oh, I don't know. Maybe you know. I don't know if it's theory or not.
Well, it is.
It is.
It's
Okay, great.
called Yugoslav. You'd be surprised.
Okay, perfect.
of the king's Indian with g3. Right. Let me see. So knight a5, queen d3, and this is you played a very poisonous sideline. The maybe it was knight d2, but
So-
queen d3 if she doesn't know. So you see.
Yeah, but I wasn't happy with two because it's in front of this bishop and I
No,
cannot
but I
really
mean,
move it.
really, like, strangely enough, as far as I understand, you both ended up in the position you
Yeah, we
didn't know
don't
well,
know. Yeah.
and you navigated it better. So that's how it looks. And let me just do one thing
Yeah.
which will make our life easier. I understand the setup is not perfect, but if we did the one, yeah, it's our game, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
we
this is
come
our
back,
game.
so no sidelines. It's, yeah, queen d3 position,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, but I had like this plan if 5 and just do something. But I think she could be like she went
could
with
prepare
bishop
better, right?
d7, and I'm not sure what's happening with b5 because I can take, but I cannot really take
Yeah, you
with
cannot take
queen
with the
because
queen,
of
bishop
bishop
a6.
a6. When I take with this knight, I don't know, like
Still bishop a6. What's called Benko gambit vibes,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Probably
so-
not a bad Benko gambit for black now that I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she probably just misplayed it somewhere around here.
Yeah, but
with
when
bishop
she
d7.
when she plays like bishop d7, I just play e5, and I think like my position is just fine. Yeah. Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Once again, I will urge you not to pay too much attention to
Yeah.
evaluation bar because it's not always
Okay.
accurate. I would prefer to switch it off to hear from the players because it actually affects our commentary, affects the players because if we are talking today's game, it's interesting what you were thinking. Right? Not like how you
but
react
I was
to
thinking
the
like
No, but
variations.
that's really nice.
But yeah, like this was everything was normal here. I think. Okay, I didn't really understand this move. Like I thought that she would go for knight d7 or something because this knight is really strong.
Yeah, knight
on
on
e5.
e5 is of course unpleasant. Yeah, so queen c8 perhaps like
Queen c8 and
bishop
like
h3 or
this
something.
knight is hanging down. I didn't really know how to take advantage of that, but well, I tried. So
Bishop
I simply
d2,
went
yeah.
for a development and like kind of attacking this knight. Yeah, she finally did that. Okay. I was also thinking like about this move, f4, because she takes. I really
It's a
have.
very
Yeah,
nice, very nice
those are
looking
really nice.
center, right?
Yeah. But I don't know. I also thought that these two pawns could be kind of hanging. If she just go for this, I have to go bishop f3.
So the queen is a
but-
bit overloaded, right?
Yeah, and I really don't want to exchange my white squared bishops.
Right.
So I just decided.
You captured on d7, right?
Yeah, I just captured on d7. I went for development because that's what usually works.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also here. I already saw what I'm gonna do. Like I'm gonna go for queen d1 and then d6.
d6 and 5. Right?
Yeah, that was my idea. But I think I just spent like too much time thinking on that move. Like I could just do it and have some time more because I got in quite time trouble here. Like with 13 minutes in 20 move, it's really not good.
Mm-hmm.
But what I didn't see at the beginning is what I'm gonna do like after knight d6, because if I just like take this rook, then my king is really bad.
Yeah,
like
bishop
she will
h2
just
and
this.
so on. Mhm.
But then I saw that I don't have to take everything that is hanging. I
You
can
probably
just
go
go
knight d5.
knight d5 and everything is just fine. But like I spent 10 more minutes to
to
find
understand,
this.
what to do after d6.
But okay, like she didn't take with anything. Like if she would take with this, I would be so happy because
I mean, this
just
knight
look
on
at this
b7,
knight. It's amazing. But yeah, she went for e6, which I think it's normal. I had to defend my d6 pawn. And I knew that she would probably go for f5 and then h6 and things, but I think she's just like opening lines in front of her king too much.
No, but that's, I think, once again, I mean, I'm not sure if you'd agree with me, but usually the fastest way of losing the game when you're looking for tactics in a bad position. So this is how it looks. That appeals that she was doing. Like she's
that she wants
looking for a kind of tactical solution to the position which is positionally unsound, so to speak. Right? That the knight's on b7, and all of a sudden we are engaging into some tactical.
And she probably wants to capture this pawn
d6,
as fast as possible because, like,
bishop g5 and
my next move is this. But I thought that she could do maybe something.
She could do h6 and
maybe
still be in the
like
game. You see now, Compi is not very happy with h6 as well. For some reason, we don't know.
We don't know. But I was thinking like bishop f4, and I could be just fine. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, optically it looks very nice for white.
Because
as long as you stay reasonable, just keep your
exactly.
d6 pawn, I guess.
But we both would be like in time trouble here, so I don't know what would actually happen. I was quite happy when she played f5 and then h6.
And here you felt like...
like even if I don't get a pawn back when she takes it, I have a nice position because like these squares are just weak. A
lot of weakness.
Okay, but I have
decided to
take. I just decided to take. And I don't know. This knight will come here. This pawn is bad.
G6 is weak. Everything
and
weak. And
this like diagonal is bad. Everything is just fine.
So maybe we don't go move by move because it was, let's say, a time trouble and so on. But can you tell me, like, when you really believe, okay, now I'm winning, because it's still a difference between, okay, my position is good or I'm better, and then you know for sure, okay, this is winning, this is it.
Well, here I already thought that I was better, but I wasn't like so sure that I'm gonna win. Because everything can happen in time trouble. A few moves later, when we exchange this, and when I doubled the rooks, I actually knew somewhere here. Yeah, like here, I knew that I'm gonna win because I saw that I'm gonna capture one of her pawns. This one is hanging, even if she like defends it, I can just go like this, and I will take it. Like, okay, we would still play a long game. I would only have one pawn up, and an endgame with two rooks and a knight against bishop.
Two rooks and bishop,
but I knew that I'm gonna eventually win this.
And she played queen
she played this,
G7?
which I was even happier somehow. And then I thought that we're gonna play this endgame, and I don't know what she does, like something like this.
And you have knight h4, no?
And then I have knight h4, and then I will take like all of her pawns. Everything. But she made my life easier and did like king f7. Yeah, she forgot that this one is actually defended. So I just took this and she resigned.
Oops.
Okay.
Hope it works. Okay, we'll need confirmation that it works. Hopefully it works. So this seems to be a very nice game, and I've actually, the plan was, as we agreed before the interview started, the plan was to ask them what were your expectations and so on, but we kind of already answered it during the game. So I can wish you happy recovery of those ELO points, and then to prove, I mean, starting from this tournament to prove that, there we are. And yeah, good luck with last 3 rounds. It was a pleasure to having you here.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
welcome to come back if you feel like. Yeah, that was a good game.
Okay,
and,
great.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much. And we will be back in a couple of minutes along with Keti Tsatsalashvili.
This is World Junior Chess Championship 2022 in Italy. I'm Keti, this is Miro, and we are having round 8. And this is the moment when we have in all the games increment already arrived on the clock. We have played 40 moves and they have extra 30 minutes on the clock. What is visible here is that in the open section, out of the top boards, we do have mostly draws. And in the girls section, we do have all the decisive results. And for the current situation, as we can see, we will probably see no draws on the top 10 to 8 boards today.
Yeah, looks like no draws for girls at all, right? Board 1, black, as we found out, is completely winning right after the time trouble after they've reached move 40. Perhaps white's last chance of fighting for a draw was not to take on f3, and she did it. It was move 40, move 40. You want clarity, you just take, right? So takes, but since then it's already too late. So white played another 2 moves now. It's Beytullayeva who's to move, and I guess she needs to play a king move to unpin the rook. And there'll be 2 threats, rook to E1, not to E2, to E1, or rook to G5. And I don't think white can deal with both of those, right?
Well,
so maybe with like king to G8, right? So that not to run into this queen f4 check, because I was originally thinking king f8.
Yeah, but after queen f4, there's king e7 move, and
Anyway,
the king
yeah.
hides. King G8 also
king
looks
G8.
very tempting with the
King
same
G8,
ideas.
and then, yeah, once again, a threat, this is a threat. Queen f2, how do we win after queen f2? Just check and rook g2 wins, right? Check, g2 is a win.
Yes.
Okay, so this is it. And this is it. So Beytullayeva very likely to win and grab the lead. Then on board 4, Miriam Mkrtchyan is completely winning. You, Keti. Once again, I admit that totally right. White somehow managed to turn corners, and it's her who is attacking on the king side. Is doomed. And yeah, and what's said, and it's a perfect illustration of this, you know, famous. It's like attack with opposite colors bishops means that you have a kind of an extra piece in the attack.
Yeah.
And this is specifically true when the bishop, black's bishop is a6, like bishop on e6 at least cover the 6th rank. On a6 it's really far away. Okay.
That's right. On the top 8 boards, we do another the girls section. Look at that too.
Board 7, right?
Here we have this rook endgame.
This rook endgame, which is, yeah, I mean, it's relatively easy to win, I believe, since white just played e4, threatens g5. It's same threat of g5, so when the king goes back, I believe, I mean, you have many ways of winning it, but the what g5 should do, connected passed pawns, and then they're moving forward. So that will be another win for white. Interestingly, white has won majority of the games, and the only board where black seems to be
That's the
winning
first board.
is the first board,
Yeah.
right? The first board.
Most boards for this round, as these 2 players are the players who have the most of the points in the girls section. And the open section,
Yeah,
and
open.
check.
Let's check. So far all draws, but 8. Inia against drawing, right? White won. I don't quite remember. They don't have 5 points before this round, so I think they're even further behind. Before this round, if we don't take into account today's round results, we have and Nicolosi Kacharava, 2006. We had Ivic on 5.5, and we had a bunch, namely 12 players on 5 points.
Yeah, I was just checking about these two players. In fact, Drawing with the black pieces for the master, he's the one who has 5 points, and Grandmaster from India, one is the one who has
So he had 4.5. So for now, the situation is we still have the leaders this time on 6.5 after today's draw, and Ivic is still the only person on 3rd spot, right? So if any remaining games on the top boards, and we have 2 of those remaining, Samunenkov against Swane and Sonis against Pranith. If any of those, I don't know, wait a second, what am I saying? There is one more.
There is one more on
There
the
is
board
one more.
6. Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, whoever wins joins Ivic in tie for the 3rd, right? So
Yeah. In fact, there is board 6, a Batsuren against Kadim, and if any on the board 6.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm just checking one by one. So this is...
Why I'm
this looks like
suggesting this is that Black is having their
solid.
huge advantage, and that's very likely to be converted to.
on board 4, or
6.
board 6, on board 6. Yeah, let me update because it's a long time ago we had this position. Okay, everything changed, and indeed, Black's completely winning, right? I mean, you can go check and take yet another pawn. You might as well try to be more technical and leave the rook behind the passed pawn because you're already 2 pawns up. So maybe maybe you'd prefer to to just trade the rooks and win this way. Anyway, I want to go and say that any move which does not involve blundering your rook for Black wins.
That is right. And yeah, it's very hard to lose this game with Black. His Kadimbali is potentially one who will join
Ivic, yeah.
Ivic.
Yeah, he actually did go rook h7. He did go rook h7, so he wants to simplify, yeah. Not much to talk about, he is complaining. Yeah. Those guys have less, right? So it's Samunenkov, which is likely and draw, and also board 5, which we clicked and unclicked rather quickly. Here, it's one of those games that once again feels like they go forever. Nothing changes. Evaluation is around a lot of pieces. I mean, still middle game, right? So I'm a bit surprised. But board 41, can this be right? Really? Sorry, not board, but move 41. Sorry. Okay. So it just reached the time control, and it took White like 12 or 13 minutes at the very least to make Black quite a lot of time to play Queen f6. So what's going on? Kind of proceed to play second time right after the first one?
That very often happens actually. When you have a bit of tense position, you get time on the clock, and again spending some of it. And here we have 15 minutes, almost 15 minutes has been spent.
Yeah, so Black's rook on f4 is somewhat, but he is attacking this pawn and wants to proceed to d4, right? Perhaps. Yeah, well, the thing is, White's probably never worse in this position. I mean, you can, in fact, push something like that. Go rook d7, where Black perhaps has to take, and then wait and go rook e7. And this should be good enough for a draw, but yeah, well, most likely Black will have to defend g7. White captures. This is it. Of course, it will be played for quite a while. And Keti, tell me, what do we do? Because it's kind of in the open section, positions are less defined, so to speak.
Yeah, I think we can go just in the girls section
And wait for games
yeah.
to finish one after the other, right? Okay. We have to board one where black move, and it is king f7. Fair enough, as we agreed. King f7 also wins, because after this check you can go to e7 perhaps, right? Yeah, just go to e7. Hang on, do you win with rook f5 just in case? Oh, no, you don't, right? Or maybe you do. Maybe you do. Takes over here. No, you don't need to. I mean, even if you win, you don't need to do this. Rook g5 goes. You probably do win, but somehow it's somewhat tricky. Yeah, you probably don't want to be this. Just go king and win slowly. All right, that's board one, and we are waiting for Beidulaiva to convert. Yeah.
A few more moves left. Actually, white can't really do much here. So, and also look at the time. White has spent all the time on the clock, 8 minutes for her, so that slows down
Queen b6.
The end of this game.
Queen b6. All right, so how does black win it? Rook e1, rook f1, king e3, f2. Do we win like this? Somehow it's still not obvious to me. And queen e2 wins, okay. Okay, queen e2 wins. So that when you take the rook, it's a check, and second queen happens to be a checkmate. Rook e1 is winning, rook g5 I believe wins as well. So it's up to Beidulaiva to pick up the winning method. And it's not that white is threatening an awful lot. It's actually one check to which black has rook e7 as an answer. So you also win with queen h4, it means, right? And then it's like impossible to stop rook e1.
That's right.
I mean, you can check rook e7. And then
you can also start with rook g5 check. And then
rook g5, yeah, but that's I think already was figured out. Yeah, check here. And you mean
Queen
like
G,
take
yeah.
on h2? Yeah.
We wanted so much to take this pawn. Let's take with a check.
Yeah, that's the easiest one. I agree. So pretty much anything wins. It's hard to go wrong for Beidulaiva.
With 21 minutes on the clock, I think it's quite safe.
Yeah. On board 4. Okay, one more move followed. King g3, rook h8 was the answer, and rook h1. And black is slowly running out of time, and also, yeah, out of resources to keep the game going. I mean, queen e7. I don't think black even gets to play the endgame, which would be, of course, absolutely winning for white, but it's rather black's king is getting checkmated.
Now bishop h6 is a threat that white
Yeah,
would
I mean,
play.
she could take on h6 already here and in the previous move and a move before that. So she insists on winning with kind of full comfort. So that's why I've actually pointed out to this queen e7. So maybe that's what she wants. It's not necessary, but if you can do this, like queen e7, you know, bishop e5, and just win like this. Yeah, so once again, not much to do. You can just wait for black to be pushed to make a move, because it's only 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
Any updates from, from the Twitch chat, from, you know, whatever? because the games are, as usual, the games are stuck after this half-an-hour increment. So.
Well, yeah, probably even if we have some updates from Twitch, we're gonna have it 15 minutes. They're gonna have it 15 minutes late, so it's not gonna be updates
so
anymore.
By the time we'll be getting questions on Twitch, we'll say bye-bye already, right? Okay, this rook endgame was, once again, don't expect something to go wrong. Then, okay, I'll you know what, I'll check all the games that are in progress in, in a hope to find something
interesting.
Something kind of interesting and still live, sort of, right? Not decided. So that, well, that's quite a few games still going. But that, yeah, that's not too spectacular. This one is not too spectacular either.
Just ended in a draw.
Yeah, probably. Okay, that's. This one is a draw, right?
Yeah.
This
White bishop is hanging, black bishop is hanging. It's obstacle colored bishop, so pretty much.
You know what? I mean, why I'm staring in this position? I really want the stalemate. I mean, obviously you go anywhere and it's a draw, but I really want the stalemate after king h1, rook takes, and just sacrifice the rook. But you don't need it, of course. Yeah, there are still some. Okay, I mean, this might be interesting. Black having how many? 3 pawns. 3 pawns for the bishop and a very active king for black. King e4 is an interesting move because I would think you need to push the pawn, but who knows, yeah. So it's even hard to say who is better here. Like on one hand, the bishop does a very good job of kind of controlling most of the pawns, but at the same time, the king is very active, and also, yeah, you can try to get there, attack this pawn, then get here, attack this pawn, maybe provoke some additional weaknesses. Who knows, maybe you'll break with b6, b5 one day.
Yeah, if any of the side makes your mistake, it can be punished. So both have to be, they very solid. But it's interesting which of the player feels like I'm the one who tries to win this endgame.
Interesting, on the very last board, the game is still going. On board, what is it, 32. And actually, far from being clear, right? I mean, it can last for quite some time. Anyway, but we go back to boards 1, 2, 3, and so on. I think one more game just finished, yes. Miroshnichenko has won after rook h1. Black
resigned.
Yeah, black
she was like, yeah, I've got enough already. Before you capture on h6, I'm gonna end the game.
Yeah, so this is it. On board 7, I just realized it's Goltseva who's playing with black against Livia Arotska. So, yeah, black went king f7. And it's quite interesting that white is sort of indecisive about playing g5, which of course wins with 2 connected passed pawns, but maybe looking for even easier way of converting. And yeah, back on board 1. Bidulai was still thinking. She's still thinking, but remembering what happened yesterday, one turns to be kind of a little bit extra cautious because she has the time, right? And basically finding the right move means she wins pretty much immediately. Finding the way to go wrong would be really painful in such a game.
Yeah, especially when she has like few candidate moves. Obviously, checks are the first what she's considering, but she wants to make sure, double check, and there's probably no stress for her right now. 15 minutes still until the end, and she goes for a check on E1.
Check on E1. Meanwhile, yeah, we are shown that something has finished in the open section. Let's see. It's Francesco, Sonis, and Pranith have finished. Yeah, exactly in a way that I've mentioned. Yeah, the rook ending, right? Well, actually, tempo less for white, but they still agree to draw. To rook d7. So far, all draws on top 7 boards, with only 2 of them being in progress. Okay, black's completely winning here, still. After king e4, I mean, is there any way you do not win? Knight a2, king f3, and then you, right? I don't quite understand.
That's one way to do it. Yeah,
Knight
he's
a2.
going for that.
Probably you don't go king f3, you rather take, but still.
C1, queen.
C1, and it's an extra knight. I'm a little bit surprised that
In the
this
online
one's
chess,
played
when you
out.
play online chess, do you have pre-move of the promotion to queen or not? When you promote the pawn,
Yes.
is it right away?
Is it auto queen or
yeah.
not? I don't remember. I mean, probably if you're talking about myself, you should have started with do you play online, because I rarely do nowadays. But yeah, perhaps it's still on auto queen, yeah.
Another game has been ended.
Since you know, if we are talking about these online platforms, I believe nearly all of them, you know, implemented this trick that if you hold shift or something, and you can promote into other stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not a big deal. Yeah, I remember those good old times when you have an auto queen and then you need to promote into knight, and you are down to like 3 seconds, and you're looking in settings where to you know where to find
situation.
it. Right, so here there is no, I mean, there's no problem you can promote into knight. I just thought there is no option of auto promotion into knight. How cool!
Really?
How cool would it be? Yeah, I mean, it's just you know, a switch auto queen. Yes, no. I mean, imagine there would be like, I won't always promote into knight. Why not? I mean, it doesn't make sense, but
to promote
of
queen,
course,
rook,
of course you
bishop
can.
or something.
This game, though, can last for a very, very long time. Samonenkov got himself in a very unpleasant position. One more time. I understand I've repeated it quite a few times, but let's see. So g5, and he keeps it here, g3, and apparently black had some trick, no? f4, and yeah, and he went knight c6, which was perhaps not too clever. Could it? What's the winning move? You can see, Keti, you can see, and our guys who follow us can see that the variation are black is winning.
I was thinking about for and then give a check.
No, but wait, check on f3,
F3,
I mean.
yeah.
But can't you give a check immediately? Like, I mean, I don't like the idea of taking on f4 because we have double white's pawns, right? So can it be? I mean, apparently the bot sees something specific. I don't know. Ever this? No. White just takes and it's a draw, right? Is it ever knight g6 so that I'm no? Check. You wanted check, right? And this is right here. No, come on. I mean, this board is both is you take on f4 and then you're better. Check here.
So I was thinking of
Then
knight
knight
g6.
then knight g6.
If you play this knight,
No, if I play lose. Yeah, you take exactly. And if I play f5, you go back, and you win the pawn. And is well, this is not trivial at all.
Push f5, then knight f3.
And knight g5, yeah. But he missed it. You see, I mean, how like something in your hand stops you from undoubling white's pawn. Yeah, it's not such a complex. You're absolutely right. Go here and g5 knight takes. Yeah. Right. So Igor Samonenko was lucky. Black knight d7. It's important not to give black a second chance of getting the same position.
That's right.
So bishop
Something
to
like d7 and then to take. Then bishop is on d7. So if bishop is not on e6, this trick.
I mean, knight e7, and then let's say he returns back. And
that's the same, perhaps.
You should just stay and wait like this. Again, as I'm saying, I mean, it's a pleasant position to be in because black won, and you basically have to, have to watch out up to the point that you can focus of some sort. Was losing games, right? After f4, which he was forced to after knight g6, he was forced to play g3, otherwise he would have lost the g2 pawn. So I'm tracking backward, what went wrong? Bishop e6 is a very unlucky move, it turns out. He was better in the bishop on b3. Such a tough defense for Samonenko.
Yeah, this knight is so tricky and has so much opportunities, and bishop has passed. That's the role of the bishop in here.
Yeah. So, Gadin by wins after knight 2. That's what we've seen. That was a final move. So, the only game that is still going, Samonenko against Swanev. Frederick actually goes to a5. That's a bit surprising. Or shall I say, using back e6. Okay.
And in the only one board remains active in the on the top boards, because on the 7 white won the game already in the game. That's board.
This one. Right. All right. So g5 was played. And black blundered rook trading, and then king is in a square of black's passed pawn, right? So just king, kind of e3, e5. Just go there, take the pawn, and black can. So yeah, we can say, if we are talking leading group, we've got one game in both sides.
In here, king is a bit too active, so it's
so
in
a
danger.
check over there, f2, d4, queen g4, king e3, and then rook e1 wins. Is that right? No, never mind. Rook e1, king f2. It does, yeah. Check. Or not really? No. Somehow it doesn't. But what wins then?
Queen
this
h4.
is look. This is winning, and queen h4. Not the most obvious. And if this queen g5, yes. If king f3, something else. Not.
If king f.
Yeah, that's good. Something else should win. I'm not sure what. Queen a maybe. Yeah. But that's not the easiest way. Once again, that's not the easiest way. Okay, she goes for queen g5. But I don't quite get it. King e2.
You wanna check and you
And
take it?
the thing with a
That's so
check.
smart.
Okay,
It's
that's
even
so much
better.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's much better. And if to d3, it actually keeps the game going. I mean, unless you return to this previous line that we had, right? But, you give a check this, and she goes to 4, I guess. And then eventually you move the rook, right? It's only one check. Anyway, black somehow wins. Black somehow
Yeah, we have
wins,
this
and
position already.
yeah, already king d3, queen f5. Method, if you method of exclusion, that is, right? So go to c3, it's a go to e file, it's a check with the rook. King d4 is the only move, and then rook e1, I believe.
After like king d4 and rook e1, if you give a check, b7 and c7 covers the king.
Rook e7.
Yeah. Queen is hanging. f1 is a threat, so that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, this is it. And this will conclude the girls' top boards without a single draw. I mean, just to, you know, just to be completely sure that there will be no draw. I'm checking board in, and on the top board, white seems to be winning. So
yeah, and also
as many as 10 boards,
talking
right?
about white winning most of the games. I see that except of this one first board, white won on the 7 boards in a row.
7 boards in a row. Yeah. Okay. So king played, and it's last move to find for Beidulaiva pretty much. And rook e1 is not the only one, I believe. It will prolong the game unnecessarily if you go
We have it
elsewhere.
indeed.
She did play, right? Rook e1, was it?
I don't see the move yet.
But yeah, the game.
Rook e1.
Yeah, rook to e1, and this is black's win, and Beidulaiva becomes the sole leader of the tournament.
Oh, she plays really nicely all these games that we have seen her, and she is the leader for past few days already, and we have been observing her game for some time already.
Okay, and so that pretty much leaves us with only this one game, Samonenkov and Frederick Swane, which, as we said, for quite a while, because what can you do with white? I mean, you can't really stop black from maneuvering, creating threats here and there, so you have to defend patiently. So other than that, we have draws all the way up to board 6. So that means we already know that the leaders are Kozak and Kacharava. We know that Ivic and
Bailey are
tied
sharing.
for third, and if Swane wins, I don't think Samonenkov can win, right? So if Swane wins, he will be joining the tie for the third place. Right. Wait a sec. Aren't we... no. It was on e5 with the bishop on e6. Yeah, I'm kind of looking for, you know, if we ever get to the same position. Hang on a second. After bishop f5, knight c5 as an option. And then how does white proceed from here? Because, I mean, it's getting tense. It's getting very tense.
Probably take on g5 finally.
Finally, you're right. I mean, just to get rid of this tension. Okay, take on g5. But then where do we go? I mean, we cannot really allow knight e4.
Oh, why not? Because after take king e2 is not it.
No, I mean allow as in
Okay.
move
Yeah,
move the bishop.
So on the other diagonal.
Yeah, like we go here. Then b3 is an option, but doesn't really help, right? And then I just go. So b3 looks like a breakthrough, but it doesn't actually help.
Knight e4 actually is good here.
Knight e4.
Bishop e4.
Bishop e4, queen e4, okay.
King d4, and there's a king c4. Does it change anything?
I don't think so. I
King
go
d1
here. So just important to have this opposition. Well, I think it's got to be a draw anyway. It's just that you never know when they're going to finish. All right. Anything like on lower boards?
Like there are some games, of course. in progress.
Petriashvili from Georgia. Aren't you supporting him, Keti? Petriashvili against Stephenson, board 14. Oh, whoa, whoa,
What
whoa.
a question.
Wait
You don't
a
think that I
second.
have not checked this game yet?
What's going on? I mean, look at this position, and this is, of course, the queens that have been promoted. You can't expect them to be the original queens. I'm just checking. The only set of queens that was promoted. Yeah. Table base is very helpful usually, accessing such positions. For human beings, it's not that easy. I believe what usually happens wins by, I mean, some quiet move, which is very easy for the computer and impossible for us.
Well, if queens are off the board, it might be also winning if you are on
It
time to
is,
cut the
yeah,
king.
it is exactly. So that's exactly what I was looking for. I don't see it for now, but say this check, right? Maybe he goes there. But that's a funny endgame to witness. I mean, especially. It's actually he actually does play queen d6. The problem is they have way too much time. How about two girls that are playing in the open section? Zhu Jingye, I can see, has won on board 13. And what was the other girl's name? She was playing a little bit lower, I believe. Right?
Let me check.
I think
how
from
many
Hungary.
points-
From Hungary, but Gal Shoka, she lost, I guess, yeah. And also you can see some
two queens.
promoted queens on the board.
Miro, we do have an update on the third board, and seems like something goes on the wrong way for white.
Samonenkov? What happened?
So
happened?
in this
Show me.
line, black found a way to get knight on a4, knight on
Knight
c3.
a4 takes, yes, okay. So you mean when I'm protecting this pawn, you go to e4. Whoa. So in fact, the g3 pawn will be lost, right?
That's right.
And if g3 pawn is lost, then black's winning the game, I'm guessing. Okay, he went bishop g8, and then it's knight c3. Then it's actually knight c3. And regrettably, white is forward.
Just checking right now, why do things went so wrong here for white? And the answer is that at this point, instead of bishop h7, play c3, strong move, and to force black to occupy this square. Now king to c2, and somehow this is holdable position.
Yeah, but how do you play c3? I mean, not only your opponent, also you kind of create a very strong passed pawn for your opponent. So I understand, once again, knowing the answer kind of helps, right?
Yes.
If you would tell me that it's a very tricky position where white has one solution to make a draw, probably I'd, yeah, like, understand.
I'm gonna.
But when you're on 3 minutes in the end game, you know, you're already tired from the previous play. And also, so far, everything was working for you. Kind of, you were hovering with this bishop and you held the position, right? Is it the first time the knight has a chance to get to c3, I'm asking myself. Because, yeah, it's not the first time, but it's the first time the knight
It's very
is...
close.
No, seriously, it's the first time where the knight is efficient on c3. Because imagine, the knight on c3, e4 square is covered. So there is nothing to do on c3. White will be shuffling with the bishop. So he makes a lot of...
Oh, wow.
He kind of made a lot of maneuvering, got the knight to force these pawns to move, and then returned all the way back to c3. So bishop to f7 and knight e4 check. Yeah, but this is it.
I also have a feeling, watching at the video right now, at this point when Samonenko saw this idea, knight was coming on c3, he started to get a bit nervous. So I'm thinking that he might not see this knight c5, knight a4, because if he knew this would come in, he could find c3 for sure.
Yeah, probably.
Because right now it's so difficult to find.
Okay,
like,
I mean,
you can
he
get
went...
king on c3 right now.
He went on c1, yeah, that's game over. That after king c3, you have, I guess, zero chance of survival.
Oh, we see him right now. Just 13 years old. He's a great fighter, and he seems
Yeah, king
very
c3,
upset.
then you take, then... well, actually, king c3 looks like a mistake if you trust the engine. We probably shouldn't, because it cannot be a bad move. You can still take and return in the war. But yeah, also...
The engine is too dramatic, right?
Also like capturing on g3 and then returning back. It seems like nothing stops you from getting to c3.
No, like nothing makes engine please, right, in this position. Not king c3.
It's
Knight
not the engine,
g3.
it's stupid evaluation bar, right? I mean, it has certain depth, and you make any move, so it reacts to... It kind of sees the next move in its variation, in its depth. So that's exactly what makes it not very reliable. So the engine, yeah, a little bit more trustworthy. To tell, like, if someone is up, or there is
Or
one...
there's a blunder, like we saw
yeah, like
yesterday,
there is...
checkmate in 3 moves. It was
There
really
is
useful.
one... there is one move that is much better than the others, but... Here, yeah, knight to g3, and regrettably, white is going down here. I think this will be the last game that we are covering, right? Even though there are still some games in progress, but that's kind of...
We pretty much have already a picture of the tomorrow's round and also the current situation.
Yeah, it's kind of the leading group is there. Yeah, in the open section you have a little bit more games going, which is logical because they have many more players in total, right? Girls, let me find out. Yeah, top 10, everything's... not everything, this one's still going, and white's completely winning. Now getting knight to f5, and it's funny, like in checkers, you know, you go here and then you just collect everything. It's like this, I believe, be with my drawing skills.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. While over there... Yeah, that's the most depressing. I mean, this kind of endgames. I've been in I don't really recall, but I've been on both ends of it. Like I've had better position with the knight, you know, like no direct win, but you torture your opponent for ages. And I've been on the receiving end as well, and it's not fun. It's certainly not fun because you basically you have as little chances as with these opposite colored bishops, right? So opposite colored bishops, at least you can tell if it's a draw or you're lost, right? Here you don't even know, so you're of course playing out the moves, but without much hope. Knight f1 wins on a spot, right? I think knight f1 wins on a spot.
To get knight.
Knight on e3 will attack both g4 and
the thing
and
is
c2.
that white's bishop gets on f5 squared.
So a check. Where do you go?
King to c1, I guess.
King c1. I here.
Bishop to e6.
Bishop 6, king c3,
Bishop
and
f5.
bishop f5. I thought I can take on f5, and then
And checkmate happens.
auto promote into rook. Actually,
Knight e4 in the game.
yeah, knight e4. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, knight e4, king c1, king c3.
So basically now the idea is to move knight a little bit around and get on e3 square, and that's it.
Yeah, it seems that white doesn't have an adequate square. When black gets the knight on e3, white have a reaction to this. Yeah. All right. Yeah,
10
a
minutes on the
lot
clock.
of pressure on Igor. What to do? I've just noticed that quite a few rounds in a row he's finishing one of the last, so he might be
Exhausting for him.
well really tired, right? So
Yeah, and
it's-
sometimes
imagine,
it's hard to recover from this
like
long
11
games.
rounds. Yeah, I mean, especially when you're like 13, right?
Well, it's better than to be 30. I have to
I would
admit,
argue. I would argue.
energy-wise.
Energy-wise, yeah. Okay. He still, of course, not. He's still not resigning. After bishop e6 is done. Interestingly, yeah, this other line that I've suggested online looked rather clear. So now, how does black win exactly? Is it something crazy like... No, no, why crazy then, let's say, bishop... I mean, I'm just looking for some b3 breakthroughs, right? Which probably need.
Yeah, probably
no
just
need.
to get the knight on e3 first, and then you can...
But do we
break
get it? Do
b3.
we get it? c4. Now, any kind of... Yeah, like, say, he's waiting,
knight
knight
f1?
c4. Yeah, but knight c4 as well.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, knight f1 works in this case, I agree. But like knight c4 is guaranteed. We need to have a square on c4 by multiple squares, and this is a winning pawn again, right? So just go here and right. So this one is low for... Well, knight on d4. What does white do against knight on d4? Because you can no longer play bishop b3, right? So you'll have to be on this other diagonal, and maybe then black can win somehow. But yeah, knight e3 just finishes the game. The only square you're getting both pawns from is 5, well, or technically on both squares black can take. Squares black can take. It's just a question how to get the knight there.
And
Yeah.
we remember Frederick Svane had winning end game after long play Abdul Bailey, and he made very bad mistake, and he drew the game in the last seconds. A little bit careful after that experience.
Yeah, but here, like, how do you? That's I mean that's the worst in this position for white, that you have no the slightest chance whatsoever.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true. As we
basically,
were
when
asking
you're
yesterday, how many of Black's moves are losing here in one move?
yeah,
I cannot see.
like losing, the answer is clearly zero.
Yeah.
No, there is only doesn't win, and this is b4, b3, right? So it is, but Samonenkov, he started incredibly well, right? Last 3 rounds, he has lost to Batsuran. Yes, no, wait a sec. Yesterday he won. Yeah, at some point his position didn't look that well, but he won. So he's still
won.
fighting. Yeah.
He lost the round 6.
Yeah, against Batsuran before
Yeah.
the free day. Yes.
And then he had first 3 wins. That was really impressive. And he was one of the players with 100% score. And then he made 2 draws against 2 grandmasters. And yeah, then they lost.
No, I mean, still, of course,
It's a great
even if
performance.
he loses this one, it's a great result for now. It's just important not to kind of fall apart after today's loss. I think he just made the move, and while
I see Petriashvili has an end game.
Petriashvili probably right.
He was.
He did. He somehow checkmated the king without playing a game.
That's brutal to checkmate the king.
Girls, just quickly to check if everything is finished in now. Still, this ball is going on. What is the reason it's going on? I have no idea. Will be over soon. I mean, to safely say that we've seen the end of all the games in top 10. Back to board 3. And here, yeah, it's interesting that Svane is looking for some other way of winning this game. So he's looking for some...
Suksvang, I guess. But do it.
King e3 gets here, he wants to push this king even further away. And he does it. Yeah, he's absolutely winning.
Checkmate.
So now king e2, yeah. Get it to a1 and win. So king e3, now this king is getting to e1, you can't really stop it after bishop king f3 intermediate, right? Somehow the engine is happy for whatever reason, but now I don't really care about the engine's opinion.
A little bit of hope. Let's see here. Bishop e2, king e2, that's a stalemate.
Yeah, but okay. If the knight takes,
it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not.
It's not why engine is so happy. I mean, I don't know. Happy, but my point was that perhaps to guard the pawn, and then king gets here, and king gets here, right? And king gets. So the only question is, or there is no question.
You were wondering about takes on c4?
Yeah, some c4, but you're never on time, yeah. And then this, knight's not moving like this, then you get the king to c1, and then eventually the knight...
e3 now.
The knight goes to e3 anyway, yeah, but that's ironic. He could have won 15 moves ago by getting the knight to e3, and he preferred to do it another way, but very convincing way, I have to say.
Yeah. That's true. But the thing is that after, in this variation, what he does, after that white is forced to trade the knight, or it will be a checkmate. It's pretty forcing line.
Okay, so we give a check. We go here. Let's say white. Somehow we go here, force the king to a1. I mean, you can probably take on c2 to be more instructive too. So you can have this position, bishop f5, right? And then it'd be a mistake to take on c2. That much I know. But you can still take. No, you cannot. You actually can't take on f5. How do you win this?
King d2.
King b1. I mean, it
Now
is
you
winning.
take on f5.
Now you take on
Yeah.
f5 and you promote. Yeah. So in fact, you don't even need to force white king to a1. It's enough to get it to b1. Right. It's enough to get it to b1.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then bring the knight to. Yeah, but I'm surprised. Yeah. The game is still going. I think Igor did play a move after king e2. It's just that we did not. Yeah, bishop f7, king e1. King e1, and it's not much you can do. It's not much you can do.
Let's show this variation. And trade and
you mean this
c4.
one?
Yeah.
Takes and c4. Black captures, I guess. King c2, and then you just run here and you take.
Yeah. And white's king is, and the pawn then are just too far.
Yeah.
It will be no draw.
Right, so now it's clear that you see that the board is kind of lagging behind, yeah? So knight e2, king b1, king d2 is on the board already. And then, yeah, and then you have to get the knight on e3. That's pretty much. I don't think you should.
There's no something like b3 fancy and checkmates there.
There might be, but once again, efficiency. Why to spend extra moves on that? You can just give a check at here. I mean, you probably like in a practical game. It's good for us, right, to fantasize. Okay, you can do this and you get that in a practical game.
If there's a like a nice way to checkmate the opponent, of course, he would try to find it because he has a lot of time.
No, I think in a practical game you end up winning the c2 pawn first. Like you give a check and then you win the c2 pawn. Bishop f5 by Miroshnichenko, and then now what? Check here, knight d1, d3.
Yeah, he's having amazing tournament here. I hope he's gonna get his norm, and also.
Yeah, it's pretty much after this loss, it's not really realistic that he can fight for the top places, but at least, yeah, like a chance for a Grandmaster known should be there.
He has right now 5 points and 25-73 rating performance. It's still out there, if he's not yet already covered.
No, it's 5 out of 7, right? But he'll lose this one, which will drop his performance significantly. So he'll need to win quite a few games, I guess. Quite possibly all games till the end, because also I barely remember how it is to score a Grandmaster norm, but I believe it's like the average rating of your opponent is very important. So if he loses, quite likely he will be playing with someone lower rated. Right, so what we see, the king is pushed into a corner. Now what? Now will be...
Knight d1, knight d3.
Yeah, knight d1 wins, or
shortest
knight
way.
d5, knight d3 wins immediately. But of course, it's very tempting to put the king on c1.
Then try to checkmate on c2. Let's see
I
what
don't
he's
think
doing.
he will. I don't think he does
He
go
does.
king c1. King c1, so this, and then you have to, yeah, like, doesn't matter where the knight goes, you have to wait. After knight d3, you have to go bishop f5, and black will have no choice but to actually play king d2. Okay, I just realized it might be the end of it. Okay, king d2, and it's clear that knight f5 loses. Sorry, king d1 loses to knight f5. But if I move the bishop away, how do you win? I mean, you win the pawn, that's obvious. You win the pawn, but what's then? This and this, right? And I'm waiting. So it actually takes quite some time. I mean, don't get me wrong, black is obviously winning by, say, going here or going here and playing b3, exchanging, but it takes some time.
I think king to c3 and b3 to get a3, a pawn.
But then there'll be checks, right? I mean, the moment you play b3. So let's see. Let's see what happens. The king's on c1, bishop d3 is played. All right. So knight d1. Yeah, knight d1 passed, but knight d5. Okay, knight d5. Fair enough. Fair enough. So now.
Well, let's see this. It's very interesting how to win. Like, let's get this c2 pawn.
This, and we pass, and black. Sorry, white moves the bishop.
So we take the pawn.
We
on
take
c2.
the pawn, let's say, with the king.
Yeah. Let's just pass the moves.
Yeah.
King c3.
Pass. If king c1, bishop f5, still there.
Now what I can do here, just king c3 to make sure that there's a4.
Okay, waiting.
Yeah, we have to pass the move here, knight somewhere, knight d1. b3 now.
Yeah, takes.
King takes.
And a check, and this is exactly
And
what I'm not sure, because you're letting this king out, right? And the a3 pawn will promote. So we are basically narrowed it down to only one pawn. So we need to promote the g5 pawn. I'm afraid we don't want to do this. No, actually I thought we just win this. We put the knight whenever we want to put the knight, maybe on d2. It's fine on e3, to be honest. Like, okay, here, take it, go back to e3, and then go here and take this guy. But once again, meanwhile, white king will be going.
Wait. Can we
so
just
even
play
this-
king e2, king f3 and take the g pawn?
Without taking c2?
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe that's exactly what
And Svan
he
Fredrik
will...
Svane is just making sure that the correct
Oh,
line.
wait a second,
He was
once
trying to
again.
show
So
some
this bishop
emotions.
goes, and then to go here, right? And if king goes to b1, we go here. You know, king c1, you take g4, and then say white goes c3. Do we win at all? We don't. No, I think you actually do take c2 before anything else.
Then take on c2 and do the same.
Wait a second, I just realized you can take and promote.
Yeah.
Because the c pawn, yeah, I mean, originally I thought...
Wait, queen f1 here.
Queen takes, exactly, that's what I blundered. The c pawn can move.
Ah.
The c pawn can move, so if you eliminate the c-pawn, you cannot go for the same line because there is queen f1 at the end, and I've calculated all the way to this.
That's what he's calculating. That's why he was just shaking his head.
That's
Oh,
kind
that's the moment. That's the moment.
Wait a second. So if you take, I take back, and g4. Yeah, I'm not in time with c4, of course. Yeah. So
Wow,
knight takes f5 wins.
This looks like study type of position. Do we have knight f5? He made a move. He made a move.
Yeah. Knight takes f5, ef5, but that means no way back for white. g4. Anyway, yeah, this game was lost much earlier, but I can understand Igor's disappointment because, like he had it. Like he was safe like most of the game, right? He was safe most of the game. Like if you go back to the moment where rooks were traded, I mean, can you believe that white has any risk of losing this one? No. Yeah, that's exactly the line that we were discussing, right? Knight d4, rook d8. e1, rook d2, bishop f5, rook e8. He captured and ended up in this position. Okay, yeah. And black eventually managed to win it, which is not easy. And this is it.
Yeah, we have a resignation.
75 moves. Frederick Swan wins and joins Ivic and Gadim Bailey, as this trio is tied for the third. Yeah, I hope young gentlemen manage to shape up and play those. This is heartbreaking.
It is, and every game is a new experience, of course, for every chess player. It's very heartbreaking indeed. But I cannot do much about is that kind of experience or just give you more knowledge. For instance, after the game, he will analyze. He will know how to exactly make a draw. Positions. Let's take a look now at the results and the standings for the moment. So here we have the results. First two boards in the open section ended up in a tie, and the board was the latest. The third board was the game that we saw, and Frederick Swan won the game. Then we have in the girls section a first board. Liva won the very important game, and she took this. And we have then
Salimova clears second, and I believe those two boards that were highlighted now, they are tied for the third. But not only them, I think Serik Bai must be still tied for the third. She simply had too many points. That's it. Yeah. The third, but clear leader and clear second place. And it's more than that because Beidul and Salimova, they've played each other in a previous round, so it will be like really tricky pairing to make for arbiters. Pairing
is a very tricky, but that pairing, yeah, so we can really announce that it will be out there and after the end of all the games. So that's it for today. We had and now we don't know the
yeah, so there'll be 3 more rounds. Starting from tomorrow, final leg of the end game. People make a lot of mistakes.
That's right. So you guys and please join us tomorrow at the same place.
It was a very difficult and unclear game.
We have Grandmaster Arseniy Nazarov. Hello there. And you won today's game. Can you explain what happened?
Actually, I can't, because it was a very difficult and unclear game. And probably I was lost at some moment, I don't know. I think he misplayed in the opening, and I got some advantage. After this, it's a risky move, Queen G2. So position after this was really unclear, and he had an extra pawn, but I'm not sure that I was okay.
What was the key moment of your today's game?
Oh,
The key moment of your game.
key moment. I don't know, when he played this G5, E5. So yeah, he attacked, but probably he attacked a little bit slowly. This bishop B3 was a little bit strange, and also when he lost his pawn on E5, I was really... I thought that I have two extra pawn, and attack probably doesn't work. But there were seconds. I had seconds, he had a seconds, so just we played quickly, and I blundered the pawn on f7. But after this, pieces, yeah, I tried the pieces, and probably I had just extra pawn, and my king was safety. I think winning endgame. But probably I could do one easily.
Okay. How's your doing in the tournament so far?
I have 3 victories, and I didn't lose just one game. So I don't know. I'm not happy about my results because I just didn't know before this round. Probably I have to finish with 3 or 4 victories to struggle in the first places.
Okay. This is your first time in Italy or Sardinia particularly, or you have been there before?
Yeah, I've been here a lot of times because, you know, as a tourist, as a player, after this. So yeah, actually I like Italy, but I've never been in this part of Sardinia, so it's quite interesting for me to look at the nature and the towns it is here. A nice place, actually.
Thank you very much for the interview, and keep rooting for this series of victories you just said. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With me is their international master Nikola Zikacharava from Georgia. Hello. How was your today's game?
Well, it was not easy. Well, it was a quick draw, but there was some difficulties, so it was a tough game.
How was that the tough game? Are you under attack or something like that?
Well, not under attack, but there were like, I might have been under attack, so I had to calculate some things. I had to give an extra pawn. I have to give an pawn, but then I returned it back and everything was normal.
So the point of your game was the returning back your extra pawn, right?
Yes, because I think if I didn't return, then there would have been some problems. So yes.
Okay, how many norms for Grandmaster title you already have?
1.
Okay, so I'm wishing you to receive 1 norm on this tournament, once another. And the last question is, are you already planning some next stars in the nearest future?
Next tournament? Yes, I think I will go in El Llobregat tournament, which takes place in Spain, and it's during November 28th and December.
Okay, we wish you luck there, and thank you for the interview. We are here with international master Samuel Timotei Gimpu from Romania. How are you doing in the tournament so far?
I mean, it's going quite well. I lost a game which I should have lost because he outplayed me, and yeah, the normal results.
And what's the result of your today's game?
I mean, I won, but it was very tough. I mean, after the opening, I thought I was fine, and then I blundered a pawn for no reason. Then I guess I got some compensation, and in time scramble, I managed to win a pawn in the endgame, and after that, I thought I should be winning, but I was thinking too much and I got into time trouble, and then he blundered. And I won.
Okay, last question for you. Not so long time ago, Richard Rapport just switched to federations from Hungary to your country. Is this meaning something for you as a Romanian player or whole country, or as a team, our national team, or something like that?
I mean, with the rapport, I mean, of course, my chances are now quite slim, but it's good for Romanian chess. I mean, in general, not for me. I see this rapport very, very nice for the Romanian chess. I mean, I think it's growing very much.
Okay, thank you very much for interview, and good luck in the next rounds.
you.